Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Thursday, February 10th, 2022. Wrapped up an exciting, almost full hour with our Windy City review. Colton Soroka, the mid-major king himself. We broke through a couple games. He gave us a parlay to take a look at. And now myself and Scott will try to get you closer to the window. I've been so tied up in the office, haven't seen all the moves in the NBA. Obviously, the one that I talked about for a little while here that looked like it was coming down the pike was, I think, helpful for both parties. Ben Simmons coming over to the Nets with Seth Curry, and I think I saw Andre Drummond's too actually in there, and a draft pick for James Harden, who said he wanted to go to free agency. Maybe that was a bluff to get out of Brooklyn, and maybe the Sixers will sign him long term. But we'll see. But let's get in my co-host, the man from the Palm Tree State himself, the one, the only, Mr. Scott E. Webb. Good afternoon, Scott.
What's going on there, Jeff? You doing all right?
Running around with my head cut off. Let me tell you, it's been a crazy couple days. A funny story is you and I's show got cut short. The laptop said enough's enough, and then I come back on and I shut the show off. We talk off the air on the phone. I get the show set up for this afternoon, and I'm running all the credits, and I go to get on there, and I can't get on. It can hear my voice, but I can't. There's no camera. So I had to I get all these updates, and I don't do any of that. I told you, I am computer stupid. I'm dumb as a bag of bricks. Well, if you don't do the updates, sooner or later, they're going to crash on you. So I had to reload, reboot, do the updates, and guess what? I'm here.
Well, there you go, right? I mean, technology is wonderful when you keep it current.
NBA, a handful of trades I talk about. Porzingis left the building. I'm not even caught up to date. I got to go see what Woj and Shams and everyone else is doing out there. Have you caught it? Was there any more trades I'm missing?
Well, the Porzingis trade went down. The Suns got a couple guys, but they weren't like major players. The big one was the Nets trade. But I don't think there was anything crazy that really happened there. I mean, people are pretty happy with what happened with the Nets, but I don't know. I don't know that it makes anybody better or worse going down the stretch here. Some of these guys like Porzingis, he don't even play half the time, so I don't know how much that's going to help and not help. And Dallas has been doing pretty good without him, so. I just think that some of the stuff that happened today, that Harden thing was that had to happen because that team's giving up 120 some points a game, and you're not going to win that way. So he wasn't scoring any points, so they needed to do something. I don't know. I just think that Philadelphia is asking a lot out of that guy, and maybe he comes in and gets motivated. But now, what's this? His fourth, 15? I don't know. I think he's probably seen his best days.
Oh, it's probably his fourth, right? Let me see. OKC,
and then what? Houston,
Nets, and now the 76ers. And it'll be miraculous how quick that hamstring gets healthy and he gets out onto the court. But I get a move that, hey, you know what? I got to actually say hats off to the 76ers if they do re-sign him, because Ben Simmons was just collecting dust. At least you got a decent piece. I heard Harden was 33. Is that correct? Is he that old?
I think he is. I mean, I think he's up there. I mean, he's been around a long time. So, he's as old as Westbrook, right? Westbrook's not a spring chicken.
They talked about defensively. You have a KD and you have now a Simmons, which could pose some problems. The problem that is honestly going to be there is for the home games in the playoffs. I'll be interested to see. By the way, the masks are coming off. For the schools locally, February 28th. I saw Vegas is taking the masks away. A lot of these states, cities, whatever, are pulling the mask thing. So I'm kind of curious if, let's just say, miraculously come playoff time, wink, wink, that Kyrie is able to play those home games.
Well, it might be. I mean, nothing against anything, but down, we get a lot of flack for it. But down here in Florida, I don't worry about masks.
Oh, shame on you, shame on you. I'm only kidding. I wish I was the same way around here. It's more of an afterthought, trust me. All right, we're going to pull up the board. I don't know if you actually see anything. I don't know what the NBA board is currently going to look like with all these moves. Maybe the teams weren't playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games on the board. There doesn't look like there's any drastic changes. So I don't know if there's anything that catches your eye.
Well, it's interesting. Brooklyn's playing tonight, and they'll be shorthanded because of all the stuff that happened. And they're playing Washington, but Washington's not very good. So let's put it this way. Washington started off the season surprising everybody. And now they are probably hit that spot where, they're going to try to figure out who they are and what they are. And Beal going down, I think he's got a wrist problem. He's not going to play the rest of the year now. So it's interesting looking at the numbers on that game, because when I pulled it up on pregame, I got to get it reconnected here. But when I pulled it up on pregame, that Nets game has the second most bet game, $124,000 bet. 84% of the money's coming in on the Nets. So, I mean, even though they're shorthanded, everybody's betting the Nets in that game. And I guess that just typically think that their backups and their reserve kind of players are going to be better than what the Wizards can put out there. And that's possibly true. So that I just don't think there's value there. So I'm just staying off of that game. The Memphis game's kind of intriguing to me, but it's not, the number's too high. So, I think it's 11 or 11 and a half now or something like that, with Memphis being a favorite over Detroit. But I did end up playing. I played 2 games and I scratched one at the end. I think New Orleans can cover against Miami tonight. I just don't, that Miami team just finds a way to win every night, and they find a way to cover. And these are the numbers they cover: 4.5 to 6. Those are the numbers they like to cover. So I'm staying off of that one, but I am playing Milwaukee against Phoenix tonight, and I'm getting 3 points there. I think the number's still 3 points if I'm looking at it right. Yeah, still 3 points. And what I like about this game is that I think Phoenix had a kind of an Eastern road trip there where they were playing some quality opponents. They played Chicago and had to come back and beat Chicago and put some numbers on the end there to beat them. And then they had to play Philadelphia and they beat them. And now they get Milwaukee. And the difference with the team that Milwaukee is, and which they haven't been, is they're healthy now. So one of the big things about them being healthy is when can't say his name, but when the Greek Freak and Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton all play, that team is 23-5. They're pretty damn good. And in the last 5 games, they've outscored their opponents by 14 points per game. They haven't lost a game by less than 14 points in the last 5 games. They've won all of them. So this is not like something where Phoenix is going to be able to go and just dominate. Now, I know that they've been a really good team and they're the best team in the NBA, but this is a pretty hot Milwaukee team, and I would rather take the points here. I saw something that said last year these two teams played a couple of games, and the combined scores were 153, 151. So it got down to, I mean, it's just 2-point game, and that's the combination score. So it's like I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be a fun game. That game I like. And the second game that I played was I like Golden State on the bounce back here tonight. They got beat by Utah last night, and it wasn't a very good showing for Golden State last night. And anytime that Golden State's been getting beat, a couple of things that stood out. So they're 4-1 off of games in which they've lost by more than 10 points, and this is against the spread numbers. They are 15-5 in their last 20 games following a straight up loss. They're 23-10 at home. They're 17-8 as home favorites. So I just think they're in a spot here where they got a New York team that's not very good. They're having some issues with what the heck is the guy's name now off the top of my head? I can't think. Kemba Walker's not playing very well. The guy, Randall, that they thought was going to be their big guy who really did a good job last year has not really carried him this year. So, I think this is a good spot for Golden State to bounce back. So I played them -9. My number comes out to like -12. So I think that they're going to do pretty well. Plus the rest edge advantage, I'm going to have to look that up again. The rest edge advantage here is 20 points advantage to Golden State. So I know they're playing on a back-to-back night, but they rested some players because they got blown out yesterday. So I think you're going to find that that Milwaukee Phoenix game will be a really good game. I think Miami New Orleans will be a good game, competitive game. Not that Brooklyn Washington won't be; it just won't be, it's bad basketball. But I think you're gonna have some fun tonight with New York or Milwaukee and Phoenix. That'll be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, it was funny. A couple of days ago, too, Phoenix, I think, had a 21-point lead with like a minute to go, and the other team scored the last 7 to cover that game. It was kind of crazy there, but they're a wagon. Our preseason pick out west was Golden State, more because of the value. The more you read through the tea leaves and everything, I think Phoenix obviously will be the team to beat. I think Phoenix gets there again. I just, when you got a seasoned veteran like Chris Paul, who kind of like the Super Bowl, Scott, you're going to this will be a little kind of funny to combine these two. It will be nice if the Rams win and to see Stafford get his ring. Okay. And the same thing I say about CP3, if he ever could get a ring, you get that hamstring pull when he was with the Rockets and they were potentially on their way. And just, I'd like to see him get a ring. So I think Phoenix out west, and they're playing the defending champs, a team that I don't think will be coming out of the East. I mean, I could be wrong. Who knows what Philly looks like now? Who knows what Brooklyn looks like now? If you don't have any futures and you believe in Brooklyn, I mean, I think you can get them now at like 8, 9, 10 to 1 or something crazy right now, where they were the favorites in the East. So definitely an interesting board for sure. Keep an eye on that one. And Milwaukee Phoenix is the late game, so I assume that will be the Thursday night TNT game, so everyone can enjoy that one. Let's tiptoe to the college ranks here. See what we see here. Rotation number 771 and 772, 7 o'clock start. Iowa at Maryland. I have to bring this game up. Iowa opened at 4, now 3 at circa 3.5 across the rest of the Vegas Strip. Maryland receiving 68% of the bets, 78% of the money, Scott.
Yeah, I'm showing 57% of the money on Maryland, but 52% of the tickets on Iowa.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch this with your money. You know what my thoughts about the Twerps. Iowa is a Jekyll and Hyde team as well. I mean, they could put 100 on you one day and 50 the next day. The under over was at 146 and a hook, opened at 149. So initially Vegas had them 25, right around that 80-point mark. So keep an eye. I assume if Iowa can get to that 76, 78, 80-point mark. They should win and cover. We are staying away there for sure. 773, 774, Arkansas State at Troy. This is a game Colton talked about. When I woke up this morning and went to bed last night, I had to clean my eyes out. I was like, holy shit, Arkansas State plus the 3 looks like a steal here. Colton broke down the reasons why he likes Troy. He's on Troy himself. I'm going to pass because of it. I initially liked Arkansas State there. Here's a game, Scotty. 777, 778, 7 o'clock tip-off. Hofstra at Drexel. I'm showing 56% of the money, 56% of the bets, 81% of the money, all on Hofstra. Drexel opened up at 1.5, now 1-point favorites.
Yeah, this doesn't show that, but this is a very lightly bet game. There's $6,700 bet on this game. 52% of the money's on Drexel, 57% of the tickets on Hofstra.
That's a stay away game. Here comes a flip game, guys. Rotation number 783, 784. Georgia State at Coastal Carolina, 7 o'clock tip. Coastal Carolina opened up at 1.5. Now Georgia State is 1 at Circa and 2 across the Vegas Strip. 73% of the bets, 70% of the money on Coastal Carolina.
Well, this shows 61% of the money, 72% of the tickets on Coastal Carolina.
All right, guys. Georgia State money line would definitely be a play for us today. Too big. Indiana State at Evansville. I think the public will be all in on this one. Ohio looking for a bounce back. They got throttled the other day, and we went against them, and we finally beat those bastards. Excuse me, those guys. Rotation number 793, 794. Ohio at Central Michigan. Ohio opened at 12.5, now 13 or 13.5. 61% of the bets, 58% of the money on Ohio.
Well, this shows 97% of the money, 87% of the tickets on Ohio.
Central Michigan's been the punching bag of the conference. Everyone expecting a big win from Ohio. I'm going to stay away, but I would definitely expect them to prevail there. Rotation number 801, 802, Florida Atlantic at Western Kentucky. Florida Atlantic put a pounding on Kentucky not too long ago. Western Kentucky opened at 5, now 4 at Circa, 4.5 across the Vegas Strip. 60% of the bets, 83% of the money on FAU.
Yeah, I'm showing 79% of the money, 54% of the tickets on FAU.
It's gone from 5 to 4. So if you're leaning Western Kentucky, hold on. You might even get a 3.5. Duke and Clemson, rotation number 813, 814. Duke opened up at 7.5, now 6.5 or 7. It depends where you shop in Vegas. 73% of the bet, 93% of the money, all on Duke.
Yeah, 82% of the money, 82% of the tickets on Duke.
And this is another classic bounce back. Duke was lost at home on Monday to Virginia with a 3 at the buzzer. So everyone is expecting Duke to bounce back. I'd be leery there. I'm not backing Clemson, but I definitely wouldn't be playing Duke today. A real big public game there.
It's the second largest bet game, too. It's an $89,000 bet on that game right now.
Yeah, and it's an 8 o'clock. It'll be well into the 100,000 by tip-off there. Here's another flip, guys. Rotation number 819, 820. Tennessee Martin at SIU Edwardsville. SIU opened up -3. Now Tennessee Martin -1.5 or a 1, depending upon where you shop. 73% of the bets, 85% of the money on Tennessee Martin.
Yeah, this one's interesting. 97% of the money is on Tennessee Martin, but only 56% of the tickets on Tennessee Martin.
I got to dig deeper. I know SIU is not that good. I have to look into the injury report. I'd stay away. I see the flip. It's opened my eyes. But when I hear 85, 90, 95% of the money on one side, I tend to stay away there. The Zags are 32-point favorites. Good luck there. Here's the total that I wanted to talk about here. Rotation number 829, 830. It's a 9 o'clock start. Weber State at Eastern Washington. I've talked at length here about these high totals, 160, 159, 158, where the numbers, they're just shrinking them. When you think about this game, for instance, and you got a 4-point favorite, okay, and the total opens at 159. Both teams technically got to get right around 80 for you to cover that over. So the total tends to be dropping. And in this case, it's down to 157 and a half at circa. I would keep an eye on the over. I'm showing 100% of the bets, 100% of the money on the under, Scott.
I don't show anything on the over, on the under right this second. I'm showing. Oh wait, what's that? No, those are something else. No, I'm not showing anything on the over under. There's not enough money bet on the game yet.
Okay, so I keep an eye on that over. If you can get 157, I like the over. 157 and a half, I like the over there. And
there's $12,000 bet on that game.
It wasn't my 12,000, trust me. Arizona at Washington State, rotation number 839, 840. Arizona opened at 5.5, now 7. 54% of the bets, 56% of the money on Arizona.
I'm showing bigger, 81% of the money, 76% of the tickets on Arizona.
Washington State is sneaky at home. I'm not going to go against Arizona. I expect them to win, but I listen, I would, if you had to play the game, I'd take the 7 and run with it. But again, there was a 1.5 move there. Arizona, it doesn't start till 9. There'll be definitely a public play there. Here's another stench of the night. Rotation number 843, 844. Purdue at Michigan. Purdue is a wagon right now, and Michigan, they're 9-1 their last 10. By the way, Michigan, you just don't know which team you're going to get. This is Juwan Howard's grace period has long left the building. There's no Fab Five here. Listen, I think Michigan could lose by 20, or they could win outright. 75% of the bets, 78% of the money, all on Purdue. They've opened at 3. They're at 3.5, and there is a 4 at Westgate, and there is a 4 at DraftKings.
67% of the money, 83% of the tickets on Purdue, and this is the number 1 largest college basketball game bet.
Okay, the under-over opened at 147, and the hook is now 145. So 147 gives you basically 77, 78, 78, 74. That's 52. 77. They're giving you right around that 76, 72 game right now. So again, Purdue gets into that 76, 78, 80 they're supposed to cover. I lean Michigan here. Just you'll know early. And if you play in games and you take Michigan plus the 4, you take them plus the 130 on the money line, and you can tell right away, they're down 10-2, they're down 25-13. It's not going to be their day. You might be able to sneak out of it. I would take the home team there. Too much public money there for me on that one. Stench of the day, part 2. Rotation number 863, 864. For all you East Coast guys, grab a cup of coffee, go to Starbucks or Dunks. 11 p.m. tip-off. Arizona State at Washington. Washington opened up at 1.5 and is still 1.5, yet 75% of the bets, 75% of the money is on Washington.
I got 62% of the money, 76% of the tickets on Washington.
It's an absolute line freeze. You guys know my thoughts on Bobby Hurley this year. You know my thoughts about this team. They've been dogs all year. It's just disgusting. Bobby Hurley will not be there next year. The line stinks to high heaven. Washington's been good to us at home. Listen, if I told you right now Arizona State wins this game, that's the side I would have to lean towards and play. And if we talk tomorrow at the closing bell, I wouldn't be shocked if Washington won by 15 either. But the numbers are telling us Arizona State plus the 1.5 there. I'm going to tiptoe to the hockey game. There was 2 games that caught my eye. Actually, there's 3 games on the board today that really caught my eye. This one, I think, is more predicated. There is no now Marchand for the Bruins and Bergeron is out. Overnight, rotation number 33, 34, Carolina at Boston. Boston opened up as 115 favorites. Carolina is now minus 145 and climbing. It's a game where it's a huge, huge flip. The Bruins are in a little turmoil right now. Rask retired. Marchand's out for 6 games. I respect the flip. I would say Carolina is the play. That 145, is a little sketchy. If you want a little taste of the Hurricanes, hit the risk button. But I think Carolina does win that game. Buffalo, Columbus, there was a flip there. I'm not interested there. The game of the day on the pond, rotation number 41-42 at 9:05 start. Tampa Bay, your Tampa Bay Lightning, Scotty, you're at Colorado. Colorado opened up minus 120, now minus 109, showing 60% of the bets are on your Lightning, but 58% of the money on the Avs. So there's some reverse line movement, heavy sharper money coming in on the Lightning.
I got 63% of the money, 60% of the tickets on the Lightning.
I mean, I can call both sides of the street here. I mean, when are you ever going to get the Avs at minus 109 at home? I mean, you just never see that price. The value's on the Avs, but the sharps have spoken with the Lightning. Any questions there, DM me at EC Sports Invest. I'll be happy to walk you through that one. Here's the game that caught my eye. Rotation number 43-44. 9:05 start. Toronto at Calgary. Calgary played last night and put a butt whooping. I want to say it was on the Knights. I think it was the Knights. And now they're playing in a back-to-back per Andrew McGinnis. That's one of the most overstated and rated things in hockey, especially at back-to-backs. But what I'm seeing here is a Leafs team that opened up at 120 and now minus 134. I do lean the Leafs tonight.
Yeah, they're showing 94% of the tickets, or 94% of the money, 80% of the tickets, all on Toronto.
Oh, dear. That's a little sketchy for me. I do like Toronto in this spot. But, again, that's a little heavy for my liking. Again, any questions there, obviously feel free to reach out, and I will answer any question on that one. And we come to our segment of the day, Webby's Words of Wisdom.
Well, today I wanted to talk a little bit about anybody can be right in a lot of different ways, because there's no one solid 100% way to do everything. So I think there's a lot of different things that people look at. So one of the quotes that I always put out there is education costs money, right? You go to college, you get educated, but so does ignorance. Ignorance costs money too. So ignorance just means that you're not familiar with something, or you're blind to it, or you don't know about it. So that means if you really want to be right about things and do things in different ways, you need to grow, and you need to go search out different methodologies and study and read books and figure stuff out. So failure is an option for a lot of people. And we have to, you hear that term all the time, failure is not an option, but it is. And if things are not failing, there's 2 things probably in play. One, you're not being innovative enough. You're not being creative enough. Or 2, you're not going down a path of learning, because ideally you want to fail to learn from the mistakes that you've made. So one of the things I think that I took from Elon Musk, and one of the things that he said was, have a constant feedback loop. In other words, always ask yourself what was done and how could it be done better. And then you're always trying to get that different edge, and you're always trying to get better at what it is you're trying to do. The point is to grow, right? Businesses grow. It's the people that work in the businesses a lot of times that delineate from that, because they have their own purpose. And sometimes that purpose doesn't necessarily get with what a business does. And in our lanes, in what we do, you have those same people. those same people don't necessarily align with what we do, right? So Jeff and I do things in two different ways, but there's so many people out there on these channels that will tell you that their way is the only way. And that's not true at all. So what I'm trying to tell you is don't give up, and especially don't give up unless you're forced to. Persistence is extremely important in this business. And it's okay to learn as you grow. It's okay to get educated, but you have to learn everything that you can because you're creating your own style. You're creating your own methodology that works. And as you learn from the things that failed you, you will start to put that into the position for you to be winning. So test things, try things, create new processes, new whatever it is that you do to make those things a reality for you. There is no one perfect way. And the once you find your style, it fits for you to be able to be successful in these lanes. Then you pour on the value. Then you pour on the thing and go after it with everything you got. But don't give up until you get there, and use your feedback loop as you're still losing. You're trying to figure out what you're doing in these channels too. I think it's important that you can learn and grow, and don't get all comparative to what you're doing now versus what somebody else has been doing for 30 years.
I mean, preach it. I mean, especially in our lanes. I mean, when ECSI was created 7 years ago, I got a lot of blowback. I got a lot of, when I tried to explain to people where I expected the sports wagering to go, to the U.S. would finally legalize this. It would be individually up to each state. I was laughed at. And for the first 18 months, I was laughed at because I always use the word sports investors. I want to be the same as people going to the stock market, that go to Bitcoin, now the NFTs, whatever it is, because I truly believe that you can make money and profit and generate a second stream of income in these lanes. And they're professional bettors. This is all that they do, but it takes so much. It takes money management, strict discipline, and the book is endless. And the fact of the matter is, for the first 18 months, I was chastised, I was laughed at, and they were like, who the hell are you sports investors? Like, oh, pound sands, you're gambling. And I've never used the G word. I will never use it. And the fact of the matter is, now if you go on to gambling Twitter, everyone's a sports investor. So I applaud myself. I stuck through it. I kept the blinders on. I beat the trolls down every damn day. And we are still standing here today, Mr. Webb.
Yeah, the only other thing that I want to add, which is off topic here a little bit, you and I had a conversation on the show. I'm even pretty sure it was on the show. And I wore my King Griffey hat for that reason. We talked about MLB and we talked about Major League Baseball, and you asked me a question, and you asked me about when it was going to start and if it was going to start on time. And I told you yes. And I didn't think that the spring training would start on time, and I didn't think the players give a crap about starting on time. They want 4 weeks. So I think, based off of some of the discussion and stuff that happened today, not that anything major happened today, so don't think that anything major happened. All the Major League Baseball just got out there and spoke. But I do think that the avenues are set, that they're going to make a deal in the next week or the next 10 days. And I think that you're going to see that MLB will be ready to go. And by March 31st, April 1st, we're going to have a season. And we may not have the spring training season that people want to have for some reason, but we will have a Major League Baseball season, and I think it'll be just fine.
And I spoke to you this week, and everyone listening here today, I'll just tell you what I heard through a couple sources and a real close friend who has some actual lawyers in the game, let's say that. And March 1st, there will be a deal by March 1st. The media is making this out to be like they're light years apart, and it's not true. There's just a couple sticking points on both sides. They're not major either. And the players have been told, start working out. And as you said, and I'll say this again, pitchers, be ready when you get to camp to be able to go 3 innings. It's going to be all systems go. I do agree. You're going to miss maybe a week or two of the actual 6 week of spring training. They're going to do everything in their power to get in 4 weeks, or if they have this settled by the 1st, maybe report on the 5th or something. They don't want to change anything. They don't want to move the season back a week. They're still trying to get it to start on time. And if I was a betting man right now, I think they're going to pull it off. I really do. So I'm sticking with March 1st. I'm sticking to my sources. And I think that we have a real good chance for that 162 and the season to start on time, Scott.
Yeah, so I'm just going to throw this out there. That means I got to write my book again. And that's okay. I mean, I don't mind writing the book. So for those of you who have never seen it or don't get it, it's about 150 pages, and it's previews of the teams, but it's also how to gamble on baseball. So usually there's 25 to 30 pages of that kind of stuff in there, and then it's all about the teams, and then it's the we have the previews with season win totals and stuff like that. But if there's anybody that wants something specific, you got to let me know a little bit so I can see if I can work it in, because a lot of times I put a lot of stuff in there and I don't know if that's what people really want to hear, what they want to see. I've talked about bullpens and how to handle bullpens, and we've talked about sabermetrics versus StatCast metrics. I've talked about all kinds of different things for a long time. I mean, I've done this for 4, 5, 6 years now. So I got lots of material. The question then becomes okay, I want to put some new stuff in there and not have, just this rhetorical thing. So if there's something anybody wants or something anybody needs, just make sure you let me know so I can start getting that stuff formatted and going, because that stuff I'm going to write probably start next week and write a lot of that next week, and then hope that they get a deal done so the free agency period can get done, and then you can start doing analysis of the teams. It's hard to do analysis of the teams when you don't have a complete teams.
And myself and Scott, we've talked off here, and what our goal is this year is we will break down a division a day, AL East, AL West, AL Central, and then we'll go to the NL East, West, and Central, and then maybe close out, do a division a day, and then we'll close out with a thought process on futures for the both leagues, MVPs, home runs, maybe division winners, maybe who we think will be standing, and give you an opportunity maybe to shop early or hold back. I always say this: if you like one of the favorites and you don't like the price, doesn't mean you have to grab them in April. I mean, you can wait now because the market changes daily, if not weekly. So let's just say, for example, you like the Tampa Bay Rays, you don't like their odds at 6-1 to win the East. To win the American League. Well, what happens if Tampa starts out 2-10? That 6-1 might go to 10-1. So you can sit and window shop, but that's what me and Scotty are here for. We're not going anywhere. We're here to educate. We do entertain and put a smile on once in a while, but our goal very simply is to educate all the listeners here, YouTube, Twitch, social media, wherever you follow us. So good stuff, sir. Good stuff. Want to thank all our loyal followers, Mr. Lucky, Mr. Billy Cullen, Marty Lowe, our Twitch guys, everyone on Facebook, Instagram, and above. Thank you. We couldn't be here and do this without you. And if you want to do us a favor, it's like tipping the dealer. Don't be afraid to retweet. Subscribe at YouTube. Can you imagine that? Go and subscribe. It's free. Click the like button. Smash that like button.
They might like that during baseball season. I mean, if people follow me on Twitter, I don't have my face on there. It's a baseball is life thing. I mean, that's what I do. I mean, baseball's coming.
Scott's time of the year is coming. So
get me out of this damn basketball stuff, Jeff.
Anyone wagering tonight, always wager and invest responsibly. If you have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Because myself and Scott, we care. We'd like to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from Mr. Scotty Webb at 20MLB on the Twitter. We wish you guys a great evening. Good luck with your tickets, and we will see you tomorrow.